And we are back for more action, more Garena Premier League Summer 2017 action. And of course, we're going to be your casters. I am Ape, and alongside with me is Iconic, as we are about to head into Game 6 of today, the match between Game 7 rather, the match between Team Manila Eagles and Indonesia's Headhunters. And what are your thoughts coming into this game, Iconic?
I could see like how Team Manila Eagles, they kind of needed to find their groove last game to actually, start getting those clean aces. Their clean ace started like 15, 18 minutes into the game, and then they got another one. And one thing I've noticed with Team Manila Eagles is that their team fighting is superb. They kind of have these like haymakers, but they seem to make it work.
Yeah, and that is true, but we do have to remember that yesterday, Headhunters were the ones who came out on top against Team Manila Eagles. So what do you think that TME needs to do differently in order to take this victory against Headhunters, as the game against Headhunters was extremely one-sided?
I feel like they need to change things up a little bit, and you can feel the pressure of this game right now. What this game means for TME is TME needs to win this game, or else there's a possibility of a 4-way tie.
Yeah, and that's
something
exciting,
you don't want to happen.
Very tiring for the players as well. Something you don't exactly want to happen. Well, I kind of want it to happen because more games of League of Legends, but let's head straight into pick and ban. We do see fairly standard bans all around. We actually saw the Rek'Sai ban onto Chris Kyle. Chris Kyle used that Rek'Sai against TME very effectively. And what's interesting is Headhunters actually banning away the Scion of JLC.
Yeah, the Scion, one of the pocket picks of JLC. And right now you just have Gragas locked in for TME.
And this is probably going to be our second Gragas, third Gragas of the tournament, as Gragas has been auto ban actually throughout most of the tournament, and that will be most likely in the hands of Koops.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I also expect to see a Maokai this game as well, unless it gets banned out in the second ban phase. Yeah. I feel like it's a really good addition to like the front line of any team, especially even with a Gragas and then a Maokai top lane. We've also seen Maokai play the support for some weird reason. It also happens. So we'll see what TME and the Headhunters have up their sleeves.
So we do see Headhunters not opting to go for their priority pick, Maokai, instead locking in their Lee Sin extremely early. Kind of questionable pick right there, as we don't really see the Lee Sin. It's not something that people ban out in the second wave of rotations as well. So I guess Headhunters, they don't really want to reveal much of their strategy most likely. And we also see the Thresh taken away from Rox, and that will fall into the hands of Cruiser. And something to point out this game is that we will be having a role swap. It will be Ruben playing the AD carry position with Cruiser as the support.
So yeah, so one thing you can take note of is there are other good junglers as well in the pool. There's Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai is available. Elise is available. Yeah, actually, Rek'Sai
was banned. Elise
is an option as well. Yeah, Elise is really good into Gragas as well.
We did see Chris Kyle play Elise during the earlier days. However, it looks like he'll be opting for the Lee Sin instead. TME locking in the Alistar and the Maokai for JLC. Meanwhile, Headhunters, I really like this pick up the Galio to complete the first round of this pick and ban.
Yeah, the Galio flex. One thing, it is a flex pick coming out from the Headhunters, and again, like we predicted, Maokai will see some play if he doesn't get banned out. So Maokai gets picked up as well in the second rotation for TME. So a really solid front line coming out of Team Manila Eagles. What we're lacking right now is probably a mid laner and an AD carry, right?
Corki is still available for Trevor, something he's very comfortable with. And when you have the Alistar, you generally want to pair it with something like a Tristana, something like a Kalista. Tristana actually being banned away by TME, so they don't want to give that to Ruben, and Saya is banned, so they're going to be focusing on those AD carry bans so far. And the LeBlanc ban for Patrick. We actually saw Patrick play LeBlanc, I believe, against I believe it's the Kuala Lumpur Hunters, right?
Yeah, against Arhegis Galio.
Yeah. So he had a bit like LeBlanc showed some potential, but at the same time I don't really think it's ban worthy, but it looks like TME begs to differ, as they will ban away, and it will be the Sivir pick for Headhunters.
Yeah, Sivir pick. So there's still one AD carry that comes into mind in this situation. If you actually think about it, Marquee can bring out either an Ashe, a Varus, these kinds of champions, which can also work well We also have Kalista open.
Yeah, I think Kalista
is really high priority
Kalista
as well.
is high priority. They both do pretty well against the Sivir, and we will see actually the Jace.
Could this be?
The Jace mid for Trevor, going for something pretty unconventional. Maybe this is his pocket pick against the Galio, as Galio does have a pretty decent matchup. Jace does have a pretty decent matchup into the Galio.
Yeah, it's just like a Lucian, but what you give up with the Jace is a lot of all-in range poke. You actually get more range poke with the Jace compared to the Lucian. And then you have the Kalista. I'm actually surprised that Kalista got through, because Headhunters, again, prioritizing the Sivir over a Kalista. They could have gotten Kalista that will deal really well with the triple front line coming out from Team Manila Eagles.
So it looks like it will be the Jace top, the Galio top versus the Maokai. Meanwhile, it will be a Cassiopeia versus the Jace in the mid lane. And the last time we saw Patrick and Trevor go face to face, Patrick played that Vladimir and he did very well against Trevor in that mid lane. So will it be a repeat? Will it be Patrick and Chris Kyle just camping Trevor and punishing him? Or will Trevor actually be able to do something this game?
Yeah, because Trevor has been struggling throughout the yesterday and today. He has been having a hard time finding his groove. But when he does, he actually pops off and goes crazy against his enemies. So we'll see, especially with a champion like Jace, where you need to get that early advantage. His level 1 is actually quite similar to the Cassiopeia in terms of power, if not in the advantage of Cassiopeia. So
yeah,
we'll see how Treble will play this lane.
And we do have to take in consideration the tendencies of Chris Kyle. Chris Kyle spent invested a lot of time in camping Patrick in this mid lane. And that's something we might see again, considering that it is a Lee Sin. Lee Sin, a really good ganker, and he's against the Gragas, so...
Yeah, I think it now rests upon Kops' shoulders on where he wants to exert his pressure. Because the thing is, Gragas right now is one of the kings of the jungle, especially in a favorable matchup over the Lee Sin. So if he can snowball his other laner, his team, I think that it can get out of control compared to the amount of utility that Lee Sin brings, especially in the late game.
Yeah, let's take a quick interview and see more about this TME team.
I don't think the nerves were a big factor. I think it was more of we didn't really play our style. But everyone here was really ready to go when we got here. Well, Trevor's having a hard time in the mid lane, but he's still able to give everything that he's able to give during the game, even though he's behind. So as long as he continues to do that, we know that he's still focused on the game. So we're just going to continue doing what we do. We just need to focus on the way that we play instead of the way that the other teams play. Because we already know our play style, and as long as we can play our game, we're going to be able to win. Sa lahat ng mga fans ng TME, salamat sa pag-suporta sa amin, and hopefully i-continue nyo yung support sa amin.
So, words from the owner of TME. They just need to focus on playing their game, and we've seen their game work out. In the previous game, we saw them play their game, but we are now onto the Rift. This is a new game. TME versus Headhunters.
Yeah, so right now you saw almost a 5-man invade coming out from the Headhunters. One of the bad things that happens to these 5-man invades is that you lose out vision on other sides of the map. So right now we know that there's a ward on the Raptors of the Headhunters. So TME were able to get that ward in. I don't think Headhunters were actually aware that a ward was placed there. But they do know, both teams know that there are wards around TME's Raptor camp, so they can spot out wherever Koops chooses to start.
Yeah, and these early wards are very important when you consider this early game, when you consider the junglers, as this is a Lee Sin. Lee Sin has been known to go for these really weird jungle paths. He has the option to go for these early ganks, and he can also go for the early invade, so those wards, very crucial in that regard.
Yeah, especially when Trevor has his exhaust up, he can mitigate a lot of damage coming out from Patrick and Chris Kyle if ever he gets ganked. But the thing is, Chris Kyle has a lot of mobility, which can hinder Trevor's lack of mobility as well.
Yeah, let's see how this lane pans out. We do see both junglers are going to be making their way towards the top side, so they will be finishing their initial route on that top side, so a possible top or mid lane gank. And knowing Chris Kyle, I feel like he's going to prioritize that mid lane. We already see pings going down on that mid lane, so Chris Kyle looking to pressure Trevor, as Trevor is half HP. Looks like there were some early trades.
I feel like TME is aware. Look at this, the start coming out from Kups. From red buff going straight to his blue buff and Gromp as well. So he wants to match Chris Kyle in terms of the pace in his route. So you can see that both of them will be clearing the... You can see that Chris Kyle is already pinging that Kups might be doing his blue, but sadly he didn't account for Kups actually skipping his wolf camp, and he will be ahead in the rotation. Even though Chris Kyle is trying to trying his best to track Kups.
Yeah, so Chris Kyle looks like he's gonna be slightly on top as he does take the Scuttle Crab. The Gragas opting for a more passive route, looking to just take those wolves. Probably will be going back to the Raptors, and that is kind of interesting as you don't really expect the Gragas to gank from the right side of the map, knowing that he started on the red buff. And looks like Chris Kyle should be able to spot this out, should be able to know that Gragas is on the other side of the map, as the Gromp is missing, his blue is missing, and he hasn't crossed the river yet.
I feel like if you were Chris Kyle, you'd assume that Kups actually went for a hard reset, because sure he popped the Scrying Orb, but you would expect Kups to actually clear the Raptors as well.
Ooh, the Flash body slam not connecting, but Patrick is taken down very low. He does burn Flash and Ghost, but here comes Chris Kyle. He does get the Q. The Q will connect onto Koops. That will be the first blood. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, it's Ruben. He needs to be careful. 2 flashes going down. The Ignite does tick, and the Rend will pop onto Ruben. So a 1-for-1 already, 4 minutes in the game, but that will be first blood onto Chris Kyle, and that's a Lee Sin.
Yeah, that could have been so good for TME had Kups landed his Flash body slam. But Marky replies with the kill onto Ruben. You can see like Ruben was way too far forward while Crusher was there in the river. So when you don't want these things to happen, especially when there's a lot of hard engage coming out from Raux, and Marky can also punish with the Ren. So you don't want this to happen. You don't want this Kalista to actually get a really big gold lead. And as you can see right now, Berserker Greaves already completed for Marky. This means a lot of mobility, and Ruben and Crusher are going to have a really hard time in lane.
So Berserker Greaves now completed. Summoner spells missing onto Ruben, but looking at the mid lane, we did see that Patrick actually had the barrier throughout the entire fight. So he can use that if Koops decides to revisit this middle lane. Thresh already making moves to look for a possible roam, but it looks like Alistar will be able to spot that out with the Scrying Orb, the Scrying Plant rather. And it's going to be Koops and Alistar making their way towards the mid, but it will be pinged out.
Yeah, but you can take note already that Koops will have the EXP lead as well.
Yeah, so we do see that it is a 3v3 fight in the mid lane. The Pulverize will go down onto Cruiser. Koops taking down the half HP. Rock's doing his best to disengage. The flash play goes down. Koops taking down very low. Doesn't have his flash. The Q again connects. It's going to be Chris Kyle with the kill, but he will pay with his life, and the fight still goes on. Trevor with the double buff does have a lot of mana. Here comes the empowered shockwave. It will be a double kill. Is he going to go for the triple kill? Patrick does have the barrier available. The blast cone is right there. He's doing his best to survive. Both of them will fly over, but it's Trevor. He gets the E. He will be able to survive. Flashes out, and that's going to be 3 kills onto Trevor, and he is blowing everyone's expectations away. Everyone thought he would do terribly in this mid lane, but he is shining right now.
Yeah, that was a really greedy engaged by Chris Kyle, trying to get the kill onto Koops, but then giving the double buffs to Trevor. Trevor getting the double buffs immediately means that they can win that 2v2. He even gets Patrick's barrier and then gets the triple kill. So how good is this for TME? Getting an AD mid laner with a triple kill and almost an entire level up on his lane opponent. This is going to be interesting coming out from Trevor. You will see how he will perform with this gigantic lead given to him by Headhunters.
But it was a trade-off, as we do see Chris Kyle is significantly ahead of Koops. Koops, unfortunately, hasn't been able to get any of the assist gold from all of those plays happening in the mid lane. Meanwhile, Chris Kyle sitting on 2 kills himself, already has the Tiamat. So will he be able to transition that into something else, or will it just be the overwhelming lead coming in from Trevor, just snowballing the game for TME?
Yeah, so the question is now, Is this 600 gold onto Chris Kyle going to be efficient? Because he may be ahead in gold, but one thing you have to take note of is Koops is probably higher in experience because he already has a completed jungler item which gives more bonus EXP compared to the Hunter's Machete coming out from Chris Kyle. Sure, he can power farm faster with the Tiamat, but still, the question is in our heads, will the Tiamat be as effective as Koops getting level 6 first?
This is going to be a 4-man gank in the mid lane. JLC, Orox, and Koops all investing resources into this middle lane, and it looks like they're just going to be planning on snowballing Trevor as much as they can. Trevor looking to build possibly the Dust Blade as fast as possible, as he is 3-0. He's doing a lot of damage, managed to get Patrick to half HP all by himself. And now it's TME trying to establish their foothold onto this map.
Yeah, they do know that Patrick has no flash, so they wanted to go for that play. Sadly, their ultimate coming out from the Maokai wasn't able to connect because it is really, really slow. Patrick was able to just worm his way out of that and get out safely. JLC doesn't lose too much aside from a few, 1.5 wave at top lane, but it's an investment they're willing to make to snowball Trevor.
Yeah, looks like JLC didn't lose that on too much, and it's just Trevor. He's clearing these waves extremely fast, does have that blue buff on him, and Patrick, despite being one of the key players of Headhunters, it looks like he's not really having the best time. However, has been doing a good job of maintaining the CS differential between them.
Wow, that hit him for more than 35% of his HP. But as you can see now, the Lee Sin is lingering onto JLC. He knows that JLC has no ult, so Chris Kyle wants to make something happen. Still staying in the lane, so this actually means that he's sharing experience with Box. So that further puts him behind because Koops is having a field day invading and taking the jungle camps of Chris Kyle.
It looks like Koops 39 CS to 41, and here comes the gank by JLC onto the mid lane. We did not see that coming. Teleport will go down by Box, but it might be too late. The flash was burnt by Patrick, and meanwhile on the bottom lane it's going to be 3-man gank. Koops is there for the tower dive. Looks like Marky doing his best to apply as many stacks as he can. They will get that kill onto Crusher, and here comes the Fate's Call. They're going for more. Marky needs to be careful. The heal will not be enough as Ruben takes the kill down, and Marky gets the double kill, but here comes Chris Kyle. He's going to do his best to take down Marky, and Koops actually falls down to the turret as well, so that will be a 3 for 2 in favor of the Headhunters.
Yeah, but one thing you can see right now is so much mid priority from Team Manila Eagles, so they're slowly chipping at this mid tier 1. So Box just holding the lane, being a good teammate for Patrick because he knows how behind Patrick is. But that dive could have gone better for Team Manila Eagles. It was well played by Ruben actually staying alive and actually holding off long enough. But as we were saying that, Patrick is about to die slowly to the mid lane and top lane of Team Manila Eagles. But the re-engage coming out from Box, getting JLC and Trevor into the taunt. The kick goes on JLC, and JLC will almost survive, but Trevor gets out with a sliver of HP. They might look to re-engage because Koops is still up and he is making his way towards the mid lane.
The 1-for-1 trade in the mid lane. Patrick dying in favor of JLC. And it looks like TME now looking to reestablish themselves in this middle lane. And a lot did go down. This turret is getting really low right now as Box, half HP, does have a decent amount of wave clear as he is that Galio. Meanwhile,
yeah, but the vision control being established by Rox right now.
Yep, Rox establishing that vision control. So this will put a decent foothold as Marky takes this bottom lane turret, and that dragon still remaining. Lots of pings going down. So Headhunters do know that they are losing control of this bottom side map.
Yeah, Headhunters must realize that they're about to lose their mid lane and bottom lane outer turrets. The beautiful wave stack by Marky as well to secure the first blood on the turret and then get the solo gold as well. Marky's going to snowball like out of control because the gold right now is where it has to be for Team Manila Eagles. While for Headhunters, they want this gold to go to Patrick. They want it to go to Ruben, not onto Chris Kyle, because Chris Kyle will descale in mid to late game.
20 CS difference now in this bottom lane. Items starting to be picked up by Team Manila Eagles. The Dust Blade has been completed by Trevor, and Marky will be looking to finish that Blade of the Rune King once he recalls right now.
Yeah, one thing to take note of is that the power spikes as well are all coming at the exact same time. Dust Blade, Blade of the Ruined King coming out from Marquee as well. And this will be a very scary Team Manila Eagles, and Headhunters have to play these fights.
So we do
smartly.
see the movements of Team Manila Eagles investing a lot of members into this top side of the map. Rift Herald still available, but it looks like Headhunters will have the initiative. But the pick by Trevor onto Ruben, they thought that they could go the pick, but they did not expect JLC to be waiting in that bush. And it's going to be TME on the hunt. Looks like they will instead opt to push that top lane turret. Rift Herald still available, and it's going to be Marky now during this middle lane. Chris Kyle needs to be careful. The body slam will connect. Here comes the pulverize. Chris Kyle taking down really low. The shield will not be enough. Safeguard, Lantern, not enough. And Chris Kyle will fall. It's now one member dead on the Headhunter side. TME, they have free reign over this top side of the map. What are they going to do now? Yeah,
and the scary thing here is Patrick is so far behind. He has no power spike yet. He doesn't even have his Rod of Ages completed. He's a mid lane champion that needs to scale, but how can you scale when your lane counterpart got a free triple kill? And right now, the moment he loses that mid turret, he will fall further behind, because the moment he will have a harder time to actually affect other lanes, and he will also have a harder time actually last hitting minions. So the Headhunters realize this. That's why they keep sending bots over to mid lane, but that still means he's losing out on resources on the other side lanes.
Meanwhile, in speaking of the side lanes, Trevor was able to take that top lane turret, as now 5 members of TME converge towards this Rift Herald. Picks are what both teams are looking for right now. Rock has the flash available. Ruben needs to be careful. Has a spell shield, and it's going to be TME now, looking to possibly take this mid lane turret. They don't want to overcommit too much, as the wave clear is there in that Galio and in that Cassiopeia.
And you can tell like how the morale is for Team Manila Eagles. Rock's banging on that cowbell. He's slowly increasing the morale. You can tell how happy they are with how the game is, that he actually has time to spam an emote. And as we were talking about Rox is about to start something in the mid lane together with JLC.
Yeah, here comes Coops. He does land a massive body slam. And here comes Marky. Marky gets a kill onto Ruben. It will be Cruiser who falls as well. That's going to be a double kill, a short team fight. Really good initiate coming from Rox. Didn't even have to use his flash. And we might see a possible re-engage as TME threatens this mid lane turret. And the Tonk 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 doing work right now.
Yeah, the Tonk 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 together with the Righteous Glory coming out from JLC. So you can see that even though you steal Rox's Thresh, he can still play Alistar and bring that Tonk 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 to your face.
Yeah, it looks like TME are continuing to maintain this pressure. Trevor doing his best to split push this top lane. But here comes the engage coming from Box. They will not fully commit, and it will be TME disengaging, but they did take that mid lane turret. They did win that team fight, and they do recall. It's going to be Rox looking to build possibly the Righteous Glory to further enable the engages from him. And really well played coming in from Rox. The engages have been on point from both Rox and Coops.
Yeah, and this is probably one of the reasons why Kalistar is one of the best bottom lanes right now in the meta. I feel like Headhunters shouldn't have prioritized this Sivir in the pick phase and denied the Kalistar from Team Manila Eagles.
I'm personally a Rakista fan, the Rakan-Kalista combo. I like that a lot more than the Kalistar rather, but
I feel like both of them can serve the same purpose with the Kalistar and...
Did you see that?
Yeah, the Tonk Tonk Tonk.
Yeah, the Tonk 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 coming in from Rox as he freezes that lane for Marky. And it looks like Rox, the morale is high, like you said earlier. They're having fun with this game. And I mean, I can't blame them. After a really stressful game with that Kuala Lumpur Hunters, they are looking to just kind of regain, play with the momentum right now.
Yeah, it's like their morale booster. It's like charge with the Kled ultimate as well. Yeah.
The Cowbell Alistar skin, one of the best skins in the game so far, in my opinion. And this will be the Rift Herald being taken down. Meanwhile, it's going to be Headhunters trying to do their best to take down JLC. But I think this is the problem with the Lee Sin. He doesn't really have much, but he's going to try to make something happen. It's JLC taken down really low. The flash will be fast enough to escape the clutches of Box, but they're still going at it. And he needs to be careful, as this is a Maokai. Ruben will make his way towards the bottom as well.
Yeah,
Chris Kyle needs to be careful. The turret will not hit Chris Kyle, and is that worth it? They invested so many resources in this bottom lane for JLC. They're not even going to try to take this turret, as it's going to be TME with the initiative to push his top lane and mid lane, as Trevor is pushing right now.
Yeah, Headhunters are tunnel visioning onto JLC, the tankiest member of Team Manila Eagles. And right now, Rox, Trevor, and Marky are knocking at the mid lane.
Yeah.
They do have a decent wave, but it might be a mid to top lane collapse.
And something to take into consideration is that Headhunters burned a lot of resources in that bottom lane. No flash available for Box and Chris Kyle. No On the Hunt or Dragon's Rage for Ruben or Chris Kyle either. So TME can really capitalize on this and make something happen, as they've got a lot right now. They have their power spike in the Ghost Blade, in the Dusk Blade, in the Runan's Hurricane being completed by Marky. And it looks like they're going to be looking to take the initiative and make something happen.
Yeah, and I feel like that Crystalline Bracer coming out from Rox is probably going to go towards a Knight's Vow as well.
Yeah, it might be the Knight's Bow. I feel like it's going to be the Righteous Glory.
That could also be,
because he does have that cloth armor, so he's going to be looking to make that Glacial Shroud. And Righteous Glory Alistar is really strong, and seeing Rox play right now, I think he wants that Righteous Glory.
Yeah, I feel like you just want your three big frontline tanks to just charge into them and then knock them up and CC.
And
CC
one of the really nice things about Gragas is the disruption he provides, as well as being able to engage. You go head in and then you just explosive cast and just disrupt the entire enemy team composition.
Yeah, that's true. Especially with team composition that values positioning a lot, and they need they use the On the Hunt to actually reposition.
Speaking of positioning, here comes a teleport being cancelled. Trevor out of position, as he was almost picked by 3 members, but this is going to be an opportunity for TME to push this bottom lane. Patrick and Ruben by himself. It's just the 2 carries, and I think this is going to be an opportunity for the JLC to engage. The On the Hunt flash will be used to run away from this, as Riptail is popped, and this could be an inhibitor, but here comes the ult from Galio to engage onto Patrick. I mean, JLC does get hooked. He will fall down, and TME will be forced to recall, as that is one of their main tanks gone. They already got the turret. They don't need to go for more, especially considering their top laner being dead.
Yeah, but this almost was going to be an inner turret as well for Team Manila Eagles, but looks like Trevor might just go for the solo kill onto Chris Kyle.
Trevor, he's doing a really good job. He gets the solo kill. Will he go for one more? Trevor knocks away Box. And Trevor, he's still going to stay. He thinks, all right, you can't do anything to me, Box. I'm just going to stay here, keep pushing. And here comes the rest of TME. Rox and Marky rotating towards this top lane. This top lane turret extremely low. And here comes the Tonk. The Lantern will save Box, though. And beautiful attempt, though. The flash, pulverize combo going in.
Yeah, that's how he does it. So the thing is, talking about the Cowbell Alistar skin, it also, aside from is a nice skin, it also gives you the Tong to help boost your morale. So Rox choosing the skin wisely as well.
Yeah,
but this is a Baron started by Team Manila
Baron
Eagles.
Will be started. They do have the Kalista. The Ren is there to help secure the Baron, and I don't think there's much H2 can do, but they're going to try. We do see Cruiser. He's going to go in. He's probably going to go for the play. The Box will not be enough, as the Baron doesn't get taken down, but Trevor does fall as a result. Ruben completely out of position. He should fall very shortly. He's trying to do his best to survive, and it looks like he will survive. The last tick of a night, though, by Rox will be enough, though, and here comes Chris Kyle. He's going to try to get that pick onto Koops. Koops will fall. Rox, the last member standing in this Baron pit, and he's going to fall very shortly, so I don't think that was worth it coming in from TME.
I feel like they played that fight optimally. What happened was Trevor immediately died, and then Marky got kicked as well, but JLC got knocked into Marky.
Yeah, let's take a look at exactly what happened, because there was a lot going on. I feel like they overcommitted,
This was an okay fight, like Rox being able to CC the backline, but what happened is, look at Trevor getting hooked. Trevor was actually tanking the Baron, and then the kick from Chris Kyle was absolutely beautiful. He goes and kicks Cook straight into Marky's face. Marky gets knocked up and then executed by Chris Kyle. So that fight was actually won by Crusher and Chris Kyle, more so than Patrick or Buck. So Chris Kyle also gets cooked as well. But what happens is, at least TME get one Baron buff, and it was a decent gold swing, but by getting the Baron, but those 4 kills, a lot of shutdown gold as well on Trevor and Marky, means that Headhunters actually might come out ahead in terms of gold.
Yep. Snap back to reality for TME as the kill difference is becoming very small. Only 13 to 12, but there is still a gold lead for TME. They are sitting on a 6,000 lead, and the items are still there. They do have one Baron on JLC, and looks like they're going to be using it right now in this middle lane.
Yeah, and Trevor with that exhaust is one of the strongest split pushers right now. So they use the ultimate from JLC just to zone everyone out and to secure that mid lane out the turret of Headhunters.
Yeah, but it looks like they might want to go for engage instead. It will be the disengage with the explosive cast. Cal being able to escape just in time. And here's TME rotating towards the top lane. They do need to be careful. Here comes the flash. Box come in. The kick hits 3 members of TME. And TME, they're trying to do their best to go for the re-engage. Trevor destroys Patrick right now. Marky, he's doing a good job of hitting the back line. He's doing so much damage. Ruben completely zoned out, and he will get flashed, rooted by JLC. And with this might be the game. It is extremely early, 22 minutes in the game. JLC still has the Baron buff. This might be it. The momentum is there for Team Manila Eagles.
I feel like this could only be a double inhibitor coming out from Team Manila Eagles. The death timers are way too short. I feel like if they try for these Nexus turrets, it's way too greedy.
But it looks like they are going to go for the greedy play as this first Nexus turret falls. Another one is currently about to fall, but Headhunters, they're spawning really shortly. Patrick is up in 1 second.
This is going to be close.
This is going to be very close as they are knocking on the doors of the Nexus. It looks like Marky will be able to take down the Nexus, and that will be the second victory for Team Manila Eagles, and they will be able to gain their revenge against the Headhunters and go 1-1.
Yeah, that was a crazy last fight. They didn't know that Marky had the QSS.
Yeah.
So Marky actually baiting them into allocating all the resources onto trying to pick Marky. Immediately gets out and then just doesn't get hit for the rest of the fight.
Yeah, and with that puts TME at a 4-2 record right now, so pretty up in the standings. And
I feel like they could already get second or first. It might be a tiebreaker depending on how the next game goes, if YG actually wins or loses their next game.
And I mean, that game was very reminiscent of the TME we're very familiar with from the Pro Gaming series. I feel like it was a very clean early game. They managed to snowball Trevor extremely early, and Trevor looking like his former self in that game for once.
Yeah, so what's going to happen next is we're gonna see YG next game against the Headhunters, if I'm not mistaken. And if YG wins, they secure their first seed, and I think Team Manila Eagles will get the second seed into the knockout stage. So we will see though.
Yeah, there's a lot on the line and a lot of action, but once again, this has been Game 7 of the Manila Eagles.
But we're gonna go
let's
to
break it
replay.
down. Yeah, break down the very last fight.
Look at how they go all in. The flash taunt coming out, but Marky flashes out with the QSS, and then what happens is Box goes back in, and then he's going to channel his ult. Look at Trevor from the top, and then they cancel the heroic entrance coming out from Box, and then Marky and Trevor just dealing non-stop damage. Can't be damaged by the backline because Ruben is so far away. Patrick is already dead. And the thing about the two teams' compositions is if one of your carries die, that's already the entire team fight for you.
Yeah, the team composition coming in from Headhunters was a bit questionable, to be honest. I'm not sure I like the Lee Sin and Sivir pick.
I feel like the Sivir pick was really the coup de grace for their loss. I feel like if they stole that Callista and denied the Kalistar, it would have been a more optimal bot lane phase.
Yeah, but unfortunately, that isn't the case as Team Manila Eagles will take that victory. And we still have one more game of the day. Once again, you've been watching the Garena Premier League 2017 Summer Split. I've been Neep, and this is Iconic, and we'll be back after a short break. The Pulverize will go down onto Cruiser. Coop's taking down the half HP. Rock's doing his best to disengage. The flash play goes down. Coop's taking down very low. Doesn't have his flash. The Q again connects. It's going to be Cal with the kill, but he will pay with his life, and the fight still goes on. Trevor with the double buff does have a lot of mana. Here comes the empowered shockwave. It will be a double kill. Is he going to go for the triple kill? Patrick does have the barrier available. The blast cone is right there. He's doing his best to survive. Both of them will fly over, but it's Trevor. He gets the E. Coops is there for the tower dive. Looks like Marky doing his best to apply as many stacks as he can. They will get that kill onto Crusher, and here comes the Fate's Call. They're going for more. Marky needs to be careful. The heal will not be enough as Ruben takes the kill down, and Marky gets the double kill, but here comes Chris Kyle. He's going to do his best to take down Marky, and Coops actually falls.
Together with JLC.
Yeah, here comes Coops. He does that massive body slam, and here comes Marky. Marky gets a kill onto Ruben. It will be Cruiser who falls as well. That's going to be a double kill. A short, he's going to go in. He's probably going to go for the play. The box will not be enough as the bear doesn't get taken down, but Trevor does fall as a result. Ruben completely out position. He should fall very shortly. He's trying to do his best to survive, and looks like he will survive. The last tick of the night, though, by Rocks will save. Will be enough though, and here comes Chris Kyle. He's gonna try to get that pick onto Coops. Coops will fall. They do need to be careful. Here comes the flash. Box come in. The kick hits 3 members of TME, and TME, they're trying to do their best to go for the re-engage. Trevor destroys Patrick right now. Marky, he's doing a good job of hitting the backline. He's doing so much damage. Ruben completely zoned out, and he will get flashed. Rooted by JLC, and with this might be the game. It is a greedy play as this first Nexus turret falls. Another one is currently about to fall, but Headhunters, they're spawning very shortly. Patrick is up in 1 second.
This is gonna be close.
This is gonna be very close as they are knocking on the doors of the Nexus. It looks like
will be
Marky will be able to take down the Nexus, and that will be the second victory for Team Manila Eagles, and they will be able to gain their revenge against the Headhunters and go